Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're doing another video on Try Before You Buy, where we talk about trying games on Board Game Arena if you've never used it before. I don't know if we put the link below on Board Game Arena, but we'll start adding that.
Yes.
We haven't, just to show you can go to Board Game Arena. It's kind of, I think other people probably use Tabletop Simulator and stuff like that.
Yep.
Kind of similar to that. It's got kind of an automated piece to it. And we just kind of try the board games on there because it seems like they've been getting really great titles and adding more and more. So you can try here before you end up buying. And this week we're going to do kind of a very popular game that you may have already bought. But if you have
Yes.
not, here's a great opportunity to try out Wingspan. Uh,
Yes.
so we'll kind of go through a little bit of the gameplay, how it works on here.
Yep.
I'll
Yep.
let you know if we think you should maybe buy an actual copy to put on the board, or if this does a good enough job that you maybe don't need it, or we don't think you need it, and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're currently
So,
partway into a game.
yep, we wanted to kind of get our engines going, which, if you don't know this game, if you've never heard of it, and for some reason are watching this, this is an engine building game, which is pretty much each of us has a mat here with different spots for cards, and they're split into rows, which correspond to the different actions, and you'll be adding your cards, paying different resources for them, and then later on, when you activate that action, pretty much you activate every card in that row as well, as kind of the gist of the game.
Hmm.
But yeah, we decided to go halfway through a game here just so that you can see our engines in action, and see
Hmm.
how that actually works.
Hmm.
Which one of the actions here is play a bird, which I'll scroll down, which now Zachary will see my goal cards here.
I needed to see those.
Usually would not see, but I am sharing my screen. But yeah, one of the actions is play bird cards, which at the top of the screen, you probably can't see my resources, but you can kind of see it has counters for all your different types of resources. Zach just has one little wheat there, one little seed. I have a lot more food, so I'm going to be playing birds
Hmm.
into my sanctuary, which I'm going to play this one. And one thing it does here is you can hover on the card in this implementation, digital implementation. You can hover on the card and it kind of tell you all of the effects that it has and explain in extra detail. So if you're new to the game, I think this is very helpful. And most of the games on the site do that as well for these types of cards.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'll play that, and it kind of highlights the spot that it is be able to be played in. So put that there. It asks me where I want to take my egg cost from. So, I mean, that's nice. I think if it's limited to just one bird, then it just automatically takes it, which I like that. I don't like being prompted for things where there's only one option.
Hmm.
So I like that it does just do that as well. And it also chooses the most efficient food cost instead of making you actually have to choose it yourself, which is also um, helpful, not asking questions too often.
Hmm.
That allows me to play a second bird, which I will. What do I even have resources for here? I will play this bird right here. And that would be, so this one I have to make change, or 2 for 1 here. So I actually have to choose that, which in that case you do have to choose, but it's very easy to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, it'll usually fill in the resources you have, and then you kind of just pick the other
Yep.
ones. Or if it's one of the wild resources, if you've ever played Wingspan before, then it makes you choose that as well. If you have additional resources, but like you said, if you've only got exactly that number of resources, it usually fills it in for you by itself.
Yep.
And I do like that. Um, as you could probably see, you could choose the action on the top. There were those four options, or you could kind of click on the card or click on one of the areas to
Yeah.
activate it as well. So it's kind of a multi-use,
So
which
it's not
makes
like,
it very
yep. Yeah,
easy
I like
to
that as well.
do.
So yeah,
Um,
you can just click the card directly instead of saying, I'm doing this action, I'm doing it with this card, playing the team.
right.
It can just be very easy. very intuitive. So what's he
Mhm.
doing? So he's activating his bottom row, his wetland row. You can see the cubes moving there. Nice little animation. And you can see as well kind of the counters on the cards. Obviously, the eggs you can see on the cards, as well as you have tuck cards, which has 2 tuck cards under there. If you want to see a lot of tuck cards, you can look up here to my top row, which these 2 birds have been doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
Let's actually, I'm going to take my egg action here. So I'll lay eggs here, which I'll look at the rounds here.
Yeah, you kind of
And
see
this,
everything that you typically see on the table there.
yep,
You've got your round goals, you've got your bird feeder with the different dice, and you've got the tray with the birds that you can choose.
yep. And I like this. It does tell you, it says I have 0 items that count towards this goal and are in last place. So I really like that. And as well for these goal cards, it tells you which ones you have that count towards that goal and how many points you currently are getting from those goal
Mhm.
cards. So that's another thing that I really enjoy.
Mhm.
So this needs eggs and those types of nest. Let's just do that. And I will not discard. Move over. And I can activate that. Again, you can choose to move it at the top action, or you can just click where you want to move the bird.
Mhm. Or it allows you to skip there as well.
Yep, yep,
Um, and then it asks you at the end to confirm. I like that because you can kind of
yep,
undo. Typically,
yep,
if it doesn't change the state of something, like if
yeah,
you drew a random card or
yeah,
rolled the dice, you can't go back and undo that. But um, I do like that it'll allow you to.
yep,
But sometimes it can be easy to forget that as
yeah.
well.
And the undo, so if I do click undo, it undoes the entire action, which if you just wanted to like undo kind of where you place that bird,
Yeah,
I could see it being a little annoying undoing
right.
so much because there's a few times where I've done it and I've had to like redo way more than I really wanted to redo, and maybe it's just the last little bit I wanted to undo.
Hmm.
So that's has been a problem a couple
Hmm.
times.
Yeah, I think that gives a good idea of kind of how it interacts with this, how we
Yep.
this kind of all works. Yeah, I think it does a really good job. I think it can walk you through those steps, and I just like how it, yeah, really kind of points you. It seems like in the options that you have, or
Yes.
the different places they can be placed and all of that stuff. Um, and you can kind of undo things. And even by the bird feeder, I mean, you can kind of see the dice for yourself, but it also shows there what are available, which ones are have it lit up or versus faded there. And it shows
Yes.
which ones
Yep.
are available. But
Yep.
you can usually look at the bird feeder itself. I don't know how much that's needed, but um, it is a feature as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is a pretty solid implementation overall. It yeah, it's pretty slick. It is one of those games where there is a lot happening, so it is nice that you can hover over those cards and stuff to see
Yep.
how many you have, because like now you're looking at this, but you can't really see your board, so you don't really know how many, and
Yep.
you have to kind of scroll back and forth. I do wish when you're picking new goal cards, I don't believe it tells you. I wish that did as well,
Yeah. Yep.
to let you know how many you had. 'Cause sometimes that can be helpful. Sometimes it's easy to know, but sometimes it's like, oh, you need less than 30, and then it's like, okay, I got to go look at every single bird to see if it's worth it for me to take that. I don't
Yeah.
know if I love that, but other than that, I think a lot of this does a pretty good job.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I think it really does. It's very smooth, and I think we know Wingspan really well, so maybe it made it easier to switch over to this. So I can't really come at it completely fresh eyes, learning the game for the first time on
mhm,
digital, but it does feel really smooth. And for a game that already feels like a really smooth game, I don't think it loses any of that in the digital implementation.
right,
And
and
as
I think
well,
it.
for one of the things with the Wingspan is like a great production, and a lot of that has to do with the artwork. And I think, as you can see that very clearly on the artwork here.
Mhm.
And it does not really lose that either. Obviously, some of the nice wooden dice and things like that, you do lose that, but the main part being the artwork, you do not.
Mhm. Yep. And a couple things to note: you can at the beginning of your game when you're setting, if you're the one setting it up. I think this is a premium game, so you would have to play with someone that has a premium membership. So I think that's like $2 or $3 a month. Um, so there is that potential cost. So it's not completely free, but you can get into games with premium members. It's just a premium member has to be the one to start it. So then you
Yes.
might not have control over the variants at the beginning, but you can choose either the green or blue scoring board. You can choose to, I think, remove like some of the ravens and the killdeer and things like that.
It's too powerful of cards type of thing.
Exactly, and I think you can get rid of some of the cards that are language
Oh,
dependent or
yeah,
whatever, like the cartographer and where they use the words.
yeah.
I think you can disable that or enable that. One thing to note is currently there are no expansion content, even though there are 3 expansions for Wingspan currently, and I don't know that Jamie, from the sounds of it, I don't think that there will be, at least not anytime soon. I think this is kind of just to get a taste of Wingspan, which is why I would probably recommend trying this one, especially
Yeah.
if you haven't yet gotten Wingspan or tried it. I would guess you probably want to try it before you buy it, and I think this is a great way to learn it and play it. And I honestly think if you're keeping a slim collection, I don't know that you'd need to buy it, but I think I still prefer um, kind of the board or
Yeah.
it on the table versus this, but not by like a ton. So I would probably buy it if I was currently if I had currently only ever tried it on here. Just knowing how much I love Wingspan, I would probably still buy it based on the plays we've had of the tabletop version of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think just ease of play, I think it's pretty equal with the real life version. I
Mhm.
think there might be little pluses and minuses for either side, but I think it's pretty equal there. I don't think anything's really lost either way. But just kind of that extra little bit of production, as well as the ability to have expansions. Currently, I would go for the real life version. If you do like Wingspan or love it as much as we do, for sure, I would
Mhm.
go for that physical version. But like you said, if you do want a slim physical collection and aren't really into getting all of everything or all the
Mhm.
expansions, maybe
Or
just
the
kind of,
nesting box.
yeah, yes, the giant, biggest box in the collection, nesting box. Um, but yeah, if you just kind of like Wingspan, like to try it every now and then, I think this would fulfill all your needs, and I don't think you'd have
Mhm.
any problem playing this.
Right. I agree. I think it's pretty easy to get into games of this one because it's still a very, very popular game. And yeah, I think you get all your Wingspan needs in if you're a person that likes to play that way. Uh,
Yeah,
so, so yeah, I think we established that it's a good way to play it. It's pretty smooth. I know sometimes games online can feel like they're not, but I feel like this one is,
yeah,
especially if you have played it at all before.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, even if you haven't, it's a pretty smooth process. So yeah. Any other thoughts on this version versus that? Try before you
Uh,
buy.
no, I don't think there are. I think we got it
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, I agree. But we've also got a lot of Wingspan content. I
Yes.
forgot to mention that right away, but if you want to check out some of our Wingspan videos, we've got content on, I think, everything. Did we have Asia? I think we have Asia in the nesting
I
box.
think so. Yeah.
So we'll link that below. So you can
Yes.
check those out if you're interested in Wingspan, never played it before. See what we think about it. But
Yeah.
otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content and those worms and berries and mice or rats.